Okay, now let's begin by understanding that this is the formula for writing an essay. So it helps you to structure your essay in a standard way IELTS expects you to. Now, by this formula, it simply translates to the fact that your essay should have 4 paragraphs. Now, the first paragraph requires you to have 3 major components. These are the paraphrase, the thesis or background statement, and your stance. Then, of course, your stance, according to the question, can be opinion. That means you may be required to give an opinion. It could be you giving your own thought or view on the issue, right? It could also be you suggesting something, maybe a way out. It could be reasons people do something and their possible benefits. Then it could also require that you state whether the merits outweigh the demerits or the advantage disadvantage outweigh the merit or disadvantage or advantage, right? It depends on the question. It will be written there emphatically. Now, once you understand that your paragraph 1 has these 3 features, you should also note that your paragraph 1 is the blueprint of your essay. From reading your paragraph 1 alone, any examiner marking your script can foretell what the remaining part of your essay will look like from your paragraph 1. And it's also important you understand that your paragraph 1, solving it very well or solving your paragraph 1 well helps you to answer the entire essay question by 50%. Just by doing your paragraph 1 alone, you have solved the whole essay by 50%. So please, your paragraph 1 is the engine house of your essay. I would pray that you actually find time to understand how to solve paragraph 1. This other part, paragraphs 2 and 3, they have the same thread. So you are meant to have your topic sentence. Then from your topic sentence, you need to develop it by giving detailed information about that topic sentence, and that would constitute the body paragraph. Then after that, you bring in your example, an example you wish to use to further buttress your body paragraph, right? Same thing applies when you're treating your 3rd paragraph. You need to bring in a topic sentence. Of course, the topic sentence has to be different from what you discussed in paragraph 2, right? You don't repeat the same topic sentence in paragraph 3. So whatever you may have discussed in paragraph 2 must be totally different. Being different doesn't mean if a question says, do you agree or disagree, and you feel you want to go for the agreement path. This means that you need to generate 2 strong points, both for agreement. Do you understand this? Now, whatever point you discuss in paragraph 2 for agreement must be totally different from the point you're going to discuss in paragraph 3. But the point you're bringing into your paragraph 3 must be pointing towards agreement as well, right? So, but they don't have to be interrelated. During exam conditions or during exams, exam condition would make you, if you are not very meticulous, it would make you to remix a point you have discussed in paragraph 2 in your paragraph 3. Right? So in your mind, I've killed it. I've just killed it. But the examiner knows that you just discussed 1 point in 2 diverse ways. So you need to be very careful to develop your point first before you get started with the writing. So that your point will be totally different, but both pointing towards the same path you want to talk about. But if the question says, discuss both sides of the argument, it means you are going to have 2 parallel points, right? 1 for each. So first point will support a particular faction. The second point will support the second group according to the question, right? Then, you have to expatiate on that point and you need to give the example, right? And whatever example you're bringing must not be real life example. It mustn't. But if it is, it's fine. If you've got a real life experience about that thing, it's fine. But if you don't have, you need to fictionally create an example. IELTS is not concerned about how true what you've written is. They are only concerned about the structure and the points you're coming up with, right? Then the fourth paragraph here has to do with your conclusion and then stance. Your conclusion there are two ways to it. It's either you conclude by way of summarizing the topics you have discussed in paragraphs 2 and 3. Then you bring in your stance. Or you don't need to, you take the second template of conclusion, which does not require you to give the summary or synopsis. Now, if you want to give the synopsis of the topics you've discussed in paragraphs 2 and 3, you need to use the sequencer conclusively or summarily. When you use any of these two sequencers, you are bound by the practice to give the synopsis of those topics you have discussed in your paragraphs 2 and 3. Please, do you understand this? But if you don't want to go back to talking about the topics you've already discussed, trashed in your paragraphs 2 and 3, you don't want to talk about them at all you need to do is use the template of "in light of the above." Because when you say "in light of the above," you've told the examiner marking your script that having discussed all above, then you go straight to your opinion. I hereby recommend strongly that whatever opinion you must have written in your paragraph 1, you then bring it down to your 4th paragraph. But don't bring it down verbatim. You still need to rephrase or paraphrase the opinion. Right? Is it clear? Now let's understand something. When you have your question with you, and the exam coordinators advise you to begin, the first thing you must do is to read the question only once, just once. So let's break all of this down by taking the steps of writing an essay. To write an essay following the structure that IELTS has established, you are advised to follow certain steps, which we shall take on right about now. The first step is read your question only once and identify the keywords in the question that you can substitute with their synonyms. Step 1 of writing an essay is read the question only once to identify the key words in the question that you can paraphrase or substitute with their synonyms. Read the question only once to identify the key words in the question that you can substitute with their synonyms. Full stop. Then, continue please. Then, write the synonym of each word on top of it. Write the synonym of each word on top of it. So write the synonym of each word on top of it, all right? And that's it for step 1. Step 2, transfer the paraphrased version of the question onto your answer sheet. Thank you. Yes, don't worry. Let's take the training first. I believe you understand how to manage your time as well. So transfer your paraphrased version of the question onto your answer sheet. Step 3. Go back to the original question on the question paper. Go back to the original question on the question paper and read the question twice or thrice for proper understanding. Go back to the original question on your question paper and read the question twice or thrice for proper understanding. Full stop. Note, while reading the question for proper understanding, do not read the paraphrased version. Rather, read the original words used in the question. Note, while reading for proper understanding, do not read the paraphrased version. Rather, read the original words as used in the question to enable you have first-hand understanding. Read the original words as used in the question to enable you have first-hand understanding of the question. Having read and understood the question, you should now decide on what path to take. Having read and understood the question, you should now decide on what path to take. For instance, whether to agree or disagree whether to discuss both sides of the argument, if you're to write to what extent, if you're to write on to what extent do you agree or disagree with the issue raised above, whether to write on to what extent do you agree or disagree with the issue raised above. Whether to give reasons people indulge or engage in certain activities and what their benefits are. Whether to give reasons people indulge or engage. Whether to give reasons people indulge or engage in certain activities and what the benefits may be. Whether the advantages or merits outweigh the disadvantages or demerits. Whether the advantages or merits outweigh the disadvantages or demerits. Etc. Full stop. After which, not another step, continuation of the same step, right? After which, or after this, in brackets, after deciding on the path to take. After deciding on the path to take. Close your bracket. You should now plan the points to support your position. You should now plan the points to support your position by drafting them down on your question paper as rough work. You should now plan the points to support your position by drafting them down on your question paper as rough work. Full stop. Each point drafted down must have its own example attached beside it or to it. Each point drafted down must have its own example attached to it or beside it. Must have its own example attached to it or beside it. Lastly, proffer an opinion or suggestion or view in accordance to the question's directives. Proffer or give your own opinion or view or suggestion in accordance to the provisions of the question. Proffer or give your own opinion or view or suggestion in accordance to the provisions of the instruction. Next step. Go back to your answer sheet. Go back to your answer sheet to make your thesis or background statement. Go back to your answer sheet to make your thesis or background statement. Immediately after the full stop of the paraphrased question. Immediately after the full stop of the paraphrased question. Full stop. Please note, your thesis slash background statement of the paraphrased question. Mhm. Mhm. Of the paraphrased question. After the full stop of the paraphrased question. That's all. Then I said, note. Thesis slash background statement does not end with a full stop. Thesis or background statement does not end with a full stop, rather with a semicolon. You might say should not end with a full stop instead of does not. The thesis or background statement should not end with a full stop. Yeah. The thesis or background statement should not end with a full stop, rather with a semicolon. Hmm? Semicolon. No. COLON colon. ON. This is to allow for, this is to allow you include or impute your stance. This is to allow you to include your stance. Which also helps you to achieve a compound slash complex sentence. Which also helps you to achieve a compound slash complex sentence. This is the end of your paragraph 1. Next step. Begin your paragraph 2 by writing one of the points. Begin your paragraph 2 by writing one of the points drafted down on your question paper as rough work. Begin your paragraph 2 by writing one of the points drafted down on your question paper as rough work. In brackets, these points constitutes your topic sentence to paragraph 2. In brackets, these points constitutes your topic sentence, TS, for paragraph 2. Constitutes your topic sentence, TS, for paragraph 2. After which, full stop. Or thereafter, you should develop the topic. You should develop the topic by giving detailed explanations of the points written. Pardon? The points by giving detailed explanation of the points. Full stop. Your explanation should contain names or name, location, date, quantity or value, amount and currency, etc., as may be required to suit your explanation. These detailed explanations serve as your body paragraph, in brackets BP. This detailed explanation serves as your body paragraph, in brackets BP. BP, close bracket, to paragraph 2, to P2. And then you bring in your example to buttress your body paragraph. Then bring in an instance, example, to buttress your body paragraph. To buttress your body paragraph. Kindly note that your instance or instances must not be real life examples, but can be creatively improvised. Kindly note that your instance or instances must not be real life examples, however, but can be creatively improvised. Your instance or instances must not be real life examples, but can be creatively or spontaneously or imaginarily improvised. Next step, take the same steps. Take the same steps of step 6 for your paragraph 3. Take, take the same steps of step 6 for your paragraph 3. However, the topic sentence must be the second point drafted on your question paper as rough work. Must be the second point drafted down on your question paper as rough work. Do you understand the steps to take? With your topics, with the points you have drafted on the question paper, pick it up to go for your paragraph 3, right? Then you develop, providing all those names, locations, and all that. Then after that, give another example that is in line with the topic for paragraph 3. Okay, next step. Conclude your essay using any of the conclusion templates that you consider to be more appropriate for you. Conclude your essay using any of the conclusion templates that you consider to be more appropriate for you. Templates. In other words, you may choose to use summarily or conclusively to conclude your essay. Use summarily or conclusively to conclude your essay. But note that you are required to write the synopsis. You are required to write the synopsis. I'm waiting for you. PSIS. Continue. No. PSIS. That's correct. No. SIS. No. SIS. That's all. Every other thing is correct. Write the synopsis. SYNOPSIS. Yes, the synopsis of, yes, SYNOPSIS of the topics discussed in P2 and P3. Before bringing in your stance. Discuss in P2 and P3 before bringing in your stance, which is already written in P1. Before bringing in your stance, which is already written in P1. Alternatively, you may choose to use in light of the above. You may choose to use in light of the above to conclude your essay. This template of conclusion does not require you to summarize the topic sentences of P1, P2, and P3. This template of conclusion does not require you to give the summary or synopsis of the topic sentences discussed in P2 and P3. To give the summary or synopsis of the topic sentences discussed in P2 and P3. Contrarily, you should just go straight to your stance after writing in light of the above. Contrarily, you should simply go straight to your stance after writing in light of the above. Simply go to your stance after writing in light of the above. Full stop. Remember, the stance written in paragraph 1, which you're to bring down to your paragraph 4, must not be written verbatim, must not be written word for word. Stance? The opinion you wrote in your paragraph 1, you're bringing it down to paragraph 4. Remember, the opinion in paragraph 1, which you're to bring down to your paragraph 4, must not be written word for word, but should be paraphrased. Importantly, this is note before, NB. Importantly, or note before NB. Your choice, importantly, or note before NB. Your choice of conclusion template must be carefully decided. Your choice of the conclusion template must be carefully and intentionally decided. Your choice of the conclusion template must be carefully and intentionally decided. Following the minimum number of words, or following or considering the minimum number of words required for the essay writing. Following or considering the minimum number of words required for your essay writing. Hence, if your paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 gives you about 210 words, if your paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 gives you about 210 words, then you should use conclusively or summarily to buy more words. Use a summarily template, conclusively or summarily template, so to buy more words, or in order to buy more words. Whereas, if you have written up to 250 words, if you have written between 240 to 250 words or above, whereas if you've written between 240 to 250 words or above, then simply use the template, the conclusion template, in light of the above, rather than overflogging the essay. Last step. Last step. Proofread your essay and make corrections where necessary. Proofread your essay, one word. Proofread, just put this in between. Okay. Proofread your essay and make corrections where necessary. That's all. Advice. On the day of your essay, if peradventure, due to some exam conditions, you are at the point of you are still treating your paragraph 3 and the examiners announce or coordinators or supervisors announce, pardon? Yes. Proofread your essay and make corrections where necessary. Proofread your essay and make corrections where necessary. Now, advice. On the day of your essay, on the day of your writing test, if due to some exam conditions you are slow in writing and peradventure the exam supervisors announce that you have 10 minutes more while you are still treating paragraph 3, please ensure to leave that third paragraph and go to generate a fourth paragraph. You can always go back to the third paragraph to continue after your paragraph 4 has been established. If due to exam condition and you tend to be slow in your writing, then peradventure the exam supervisors inform you that you have 10 minutes more. Please go and generate your fourth paragraph first. Within that 10 minutes, you can always go back to your third paragraph if you are done with you can always go back to the third paragraph if you are done with the fourth. Do you understand this? It's important, right? So these are the steps you need to write an essay.